Yo, what up, what up, what up, YouTube? This your boy 2G, here to break down the Schooly D self-titled album. Came out in 1985. And in case you didn't know, 1985 was a very fascinating year. It was very, very bitter and a little sweet, but then again, it was very bitter. But then again, it was sweet. I mean, the sweet things about 1985, you had Michael Jordan was the Rookie of the Year. And Nintendo had released the NES system that blew everybody's mind. Compact discs or CDs were introduced to American consumers, and the 1985 Chicago Bears was a powerhouse team. Refrigerator Perry, and they had Richard Dent, Walter Payton, McMahon, and all of them. You know, that was sweet about 1985. And the bitter part was you had black movies like The Color Purple, which was nominated for 11 Academy Awards, 11, but it didn't win not one category, not one, and it was the fourth highest grossing film. It didn't win not one award, and it was nominated for 11 Academy Awards. Didn't win in not one category. That was bitter. And also, there was a new menaces. I'm sorry, there was a new menace in urban, inner city, impoverished neighborhoods. And that menace was it was called smokable cocaine back then. In New York they was calling it Ready Rock because it was already ready. It was a smokable form of cocaine. In LA they call it, on the West Coast they called it rock. All over America they was calling it crack. And it seemed like it showed up in every major city. New York, LA, Miami, Oakland, Chicago. It seemed like it showed up all at the same time. I mean, just out of nowhere. Everybody knew the recipe. It was no internet back then, you know. Somehow, at the same time, people knew the recipe. They knew how to cook it up, and they knew exactly how much to sell it for. It's almost like somebody just dumped cocaine on these major cities, almost like it was done on purpose, you know. This was during the Reagan era, and Ronald Reagan was the same one. He was the same individual in the 60s when he was the governor of California. He managed to neutralize the Black Panthers in Oakland, California. Like I said, he was the governor of California, and he neutralized their power base by putting heroin in the communities. You know, he was the governor, and of course, the COINTELPRO process was in effect, and Ronald Reagan was behind it. He had a lot to do with it in 1966, 67. So when he becomes the U.S. president in 80, and then 1980, and then his second term in 1984, all of a sudden, crack hits every, I'm sorry, crack hits every major city in America while Ronald Reagan is in office. Come on now, put two and two together. You know, just say no was a slogan initiated by Nancy Reagan. And Nancy Reagan was riding shotgun in the Bataram, in the tank, rolling through so-called crack houses. Half the time it was innocent people's homes who they thought were selling drugs. Boom, they'll just come riding in your, they'll just come busting through your living room. This was the so-called war on drugs. Those Reagans, man. I'll tell you, it's a lot of stuff behind those Reagans, Reaganomics, and hey, God'll be the ultimate. God will be the ultimate judge over that. But there was a lot of stuff going on in 1985. It's terrible stuff. Gangs. You had gangs all over America fighting over this new drug, fighting over territories, just so they can sell this product called crack cocaine. I mean, cocaine was out before the powder was out, but rock cocaine was making people crazy, psychologically and physically and emotionally. You know, gangs in New York like the Decepticons. You had the Black Spades, and you had the Black Assassins. And in L.A., you had the Bloods and the Crips and all other ethnic gangs. And Chicago, you had the Vice Lords, the Peace Stones, and the Gangster Disciples. You know, and the world was just out of control. And the times were the times were just messed up, just fucked up. And to this day, I believe the government had a lot to do with this. As far as hip hop was concerned, nobody was rapping about what was going on in the streets like that. You know, Run DMC was big with the King of Rock. There is none higher. Houdini was out. They was talking about friends, and the freaks come out at night, which was cool. LL was rocking the bells in 1985. Roxanne, Roxanne, UTFO was killing the charts, burning up the charts with that single. You know, wasn't nobody really rapping about what was going on. A couple years earlier, Melly Mel came with the message. That was 1982. But 1985 it was a devilish year. It was the middle of the 80s, and a lot of evil tactics, evil people were doing a lot of evil things. It was like corrupt governments and law officials and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff was just going on. If you remember 1985, you 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 remember a lot of terrible years to come after 1985. Now, the club scene, as far as hip hop is concerned, you'll go to a hip hop club and it'll be flooded with gangs and weed smoke and fights over street fights, gang fights. It was crazy. Wasn't nobody rapping about this stuff. Now, out of nowhere, here comes Schooly D with his self-titled album, and he had a song on there called "PSK." We're making that green. People always say, "What the hell's that mean?" P for the people who can't understand. One homeboy who became a man. Now, I'm sorry, PSK did not stand for what he was saying. He had to be vague about it because he was talking about a gang. Schooly D was in a gang in Philly called the Parkside Killers. That's what PSK stood for. Parkside Killers. Now, that changed the hip hop scene. Literally. It was gangster rap. Earlier, he had a song, it was on the album, but it came out before the album. It was a single called Gangster Boogie. He had another single called Maniac, and he had a he had a cut on the album. He had a cut on the album called "Put Your Felines On," Cold Money. Put your felines on. But when PSK came out, A lot of these gangs, Chicago. First of all, when Schooly D was trying to get a record deal, let me get this straight. When Schooly D was trying to get a record deal, nobody really wanted to sign him because the song the song Gangster Boogie, they knew he was in a gang. He was affiliated with a gang. You know, he was a street dude and he drove a Lincoln, he carried a Glock and no major record company really wanted nothing to do with him. So he was trying to get a he was trying to get a deal with Def Jam or Columbia and they listened to his demo. They was like, "Yo, this ain't gonna sell." They was looking for somebody like they was looking for the next Run DMC. They were looking for the next LL rappers rappers of that nature. You know, they was looking at Schooly D like, "Yo, man, ain't nobody gonna buy an album talking about uh 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 gangsterism and ain't nobody gonna buy an album talking about guns and cocaine and crack and gangs and stuff." So Russell Simmons just happened to be there, and Russell Simmons was looking at Schooly D, and he said, "Yo, if I was like money over here, I'll just start my own record company." So Schooly D, you know, he took heed to that. So what he ended up doing, he was already a musician. You know, he came from a musically inclined family. Most of his family members were in bands or played instruments. You know, even he played instruments. You know, so he said to himself, "Yo, I'm gonna start my own record company." So when he did that, that allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do and to say whatever the fuck he wanted to say. Couldn't nobody tell him nothing. So when PSK came out, basically what it was, he was gang banging on wax. You know, the lyrics was a gang bang on wax. It was a drive by on wax, basically. You know, I cop some weed, some J, some coke. Tell you now, brother, this ain't no joke. I put my pistol up against his head. I said, "You sucker ass nigga, I should shoot you dead." Come on, sucker ass nigga, I should shoot you dead. What nobody rapping about that? What nobody rapping like that back then? Melly Mel was rapping like that in the parks, but nobody had put that on wax. America had never heard nothing like that. You know, bottom line, Schooly D was the first gangster rapper. Then he had Gucci Time. Now in the song Gucci Time, that was an attack on the music industry, somewhat, so to speak. Because when the record first comes on, you know, him and Cold Money is like, "Yo, what's up with the?" Cold Money was like, "Yo, what's up with the record business?" Schooly D was like, "Man, I think I might have to beat somebody up." And then it was like, "Yo, you know how them niggas is. Them niggas ain't nothing but squares." Schooly D was like, "Oh, so that's what they is. Looking at my Gucci, it's about that time. I heard you was out there biting my rhymes, and if I catch your boy, your ass is mine. You always in my face saying Schooly school, man. How the fuck did you get so cool? Come on, man. What nobody rapping like that? Never ever seen you play the fool, cause I use a microphone like the plumber uses tools. What? Come on, man. Wasn't nobody rapping like that. That shocked the hip hop world when he would go and perform that at the Latin Quarter, Union Square, and he was performing in LA. He blew everybody's mind. He was going to these big cities that was infested with gangs and crime, and young kids would attend the show not knowing who Schooly D was, but when they heard his lyrics, they was like, "Yo, that's us. That's what we do." You know, we put pistols up against suck ass niggas' heads. You know, we cop weed. And, you know, we stand on the corners and sell weed and dope and crack and all that. You know, so it was a lot of young brothers that could relate to what he was talking about. And one of those young brothers was Ice T. You know, Ice T said, "Yo, Ice T called Schooly D. You know, he got in contact with Schooly D. He called his Schooly D's mom answered the phone, and Schooly D mom was like, 'Jesse, Somebody named Ice Coffee or Ice Teas was on the phone. And so Schooly ran to the phone. He was like, "Yo, what up, Ice T?" He had heard of him. You know, Ice T was in the movie Break In, and he was also in this movie called Rapping that was done in Pennsylvania. You know, not too far from Philly. It was done in Pennsylvania, and so Schooly D was aware of who Ice T was. So he was like, "Yo, what's up, T?" Ice T was like, "Yo, I like that PSK track. Word up. You know, you said some shit that I have been wanting to say for a long time. That was some gangster shit, bro. Keep doing your thing. You know, that was some real shit. Niggas in LA, these Bloods and these Crips, they feeling that shit. It's all types of killers out here. I got a lot of love for the Parkside killers. You know, he was like, yeah, I had a track that I wanted to do in mind called 6 in the Morning, and it's basically talking about what you was talking about. Schooly D was like, oh yeah, yeah, we brothers, that's what we got to do. We got to inspire one another. Ice T was like, yeah, that's right. You know, keep doing what you're doing, B. Get a listener something that they can feel, that they can relate to. Don't let the press get to you. You know, they're gonna try to silence you. Don't let them silence you. Don't let nobody silence you. You got freedom of speech. You know, word up. Schooly D was like, yeah, man. Thanks, man. Go ahead and continue to uplift the brothers, and if you can, just let the people in LA know that I'm gonna attend this. I'm gonna perform there soon. Ice T was like, I got you. Let the people in Philly know that I'm coming with a similar song called 6 in the Morning. Schooly D was like, yeah, all right, whatever. Whatever's clever. One love. So with that being said, Ice T, he came out and said it. You call it a bite or whatever. You know, this is something that's big, and I'm gonna have to put it on wax. Ice T said, "Yo, Schooly D." To this day, he'll tell you, "Yo, Schooly D is the first gangster rapper." Because Ice T was in the club when he first heard PSK, and he was like, "Yo," I think he was at the Carolina West or somewhere out in California. He was like, "Yo, that shit is fire. That's some gang banging shit. That shit is fire. That's some reality shit." So when you hear Ice T 6 in the Morning, you basically got the same foundation as PSK. You know, you hear these ghetto tales in both songs. Then after Ice T came, NWA. You had Ice Cube writing songs that was similar to PSK. And then you had Too Short writing these ghetto fairy tales. You know what I mean? After Schooly D was the foundation of gangster rap writing. And telling these tales, not fairy tales, because it was some reality. It wasn't no fairy tale. It was some reality shit, some real shit. You know, and Schooly D, he wasn't intending to start gangster rap. He did it unwittingly. You know, it was just something that he needed to rap about, that he wanted to rap about. When he's a true writer, when writers write, they write from the heart. They write what they see. They can't rap about shit they don't know. As Willie D said on the Ghetto Boys album, they can't rap about shit they don't know. They rap about what they see and feel. You know, Stevie Wonder is a writer. He writes what he feels. He can't see. He writes what he feels. So Schooly D, he was writing what he felt, and it turned out to be one of the greatest rap albums put together. I mean, it only had like maybe 7 or 8 tracks. Some of those tracks were deleted, because it was too obscene. It was too hard, you know. And Schooly D went on to be the creator of gangster rap to this day. The album cover featured some artwork. He did the artwork himself. He was an artist. He was an artist, a graffiti artist. He could draw, and now he's doing like some cartoon sketching, drawing cartoons or something like that. He's into all types of stuff right now. But he went on to release another album called "Am I Black Enough for You?" and another album he had called Saturday Night. But Easy E, he even said, "Yo, Schooly D was the man." Schooly D was in one of Terry B's video. Terry B was a protege of Easy E. I always thought she was a white female rapper. I don't know if she was Hispanic or white or what, but Schooly D was in one of the videos, and that's all I want to say about Schooly D. I mean, you true hip hop heads out there already know, but for somebody that's young, this is just a preview. You still will have to do some research yourself. I'm just telling you what I know and what I heard and what I've seen. And he was one of the first rappers out of Philly. You had DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and Steady B and Cool C, and yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But just to solve any further debates, if you ever get into any debate about who's the first gangster rapper, and a lot of people say Ice-T. I mean, Ice-T, he was just in your face, like this is what it is. Schooly D was a little bit vague, but at the time, gangbangers knew exactly what he was talking about. Exactly, they could identify what he was talking about. Young Black America, they were able to identify with exactly what he was talking about. And the radio was just playing it. They didn't know he was using a TR 909 drum machine, so the drums was heavy. Doom, 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 the radio was like, oh, they had no idea. A lot of radio DJs at the time they was giving hip hop the cold shoulder. So they would play hip hop records and not even really listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Some of those records they was playing in the early days, they had cursing in them, and they didn't even catch the cursing because they were just playing it because hundreds of people was calling and requesting it. They really didn't want nothing to do with hip hop. They didn't think it was gonna last. They thought it was gonna be a fad, and they were just playing records to pacify the hip hop community, the younger kids who was calling to make those requests, and you know it just snowballed, you know. But that's all I got to say about that. One love, YouTube. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, 2G Lots, Lotts.